All right, we're live for another out of nowhere live chat. That's right. We're just gonna do these quite often now. I've, I've, I'm bored. I could be reading or writing or fucking chopping wood or just being a dad or whatever. But no, I'd rather be here with you. Let's go. I just got done filming a review, so I said, "Fuck it." My son is sleeping. I'm the only one in that. Well, we're the only two in the house. Kids are in school now. Mom's at her new job. Seemed like a perfect fucking time to go live. I don't necessarily have anything. I can talk. I could talk for fucking forever, but it's always nice when we have a topic. Though, I could talk about a lot of stuff. It's weird though, because I don't know, I don't want to talk about some stuff because I could be spoiling things for you guys. But I did just watch a lot of TV recently, and man, there's some stuff I'm pretty much on board with. Some stuff I'm not, but I just watched the Interview with the Vampire TV show last night. The 2 episodes they got out. And if you guys don't know, what's up, Chadia? That Interview with the Vampire is the first full length fiction novel I read, so it's kind of got a massive place in my heart, just as along with all of Anne Rice's shit, really. She was my favorite author for a very long time. Man, it was weird. It's a weird adaptation because it's so different. And it blew me away that they were calling it Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, because I was like, I get that that's where you pulled the story or your shit from, but it's so different. And I'm not actually I'm not mad. I think it's an interesting fucking take. There's a lot of things I see what they're doing, and it feels a very modernized or whatever take, and I'm but there's some shit they've done, and they've changed so much. But there's some shit they've done. I was like, fuck, I might actually end up watching this fucking season, which blows me away because I was ready to hate on that fucking show massively. But no, it's not the book I read, but it captures some fucking essence, man. And I saw a bunch of people whining about how it's gay. I was like, don't read the fucking books then. Yeesh. I thought it was funny they made the Bluey gay. I'm like, you don't need to really do that, because this material is gonna get real fucking gay on you, whether you're straight or not. What's up, Book Reading Billy and Neil? Hi, mate, have just come on. What are we talking about today? Well, Neil, we are talking about whatever the fuck you guys want to talk about. I was just blabbing about the Interview with the Vampire show I was just watched, and as much as it's the thing I think that took me out of it the most is because it's so different. And I've read the books. I keep thinking about the books. So I think once I can kind of let go of that, I might really enjoy that show. We'll see. I was surprised how much I liked the guy playing Lestat. Because I wasn't, just from looking at the trailers or whatever, I was like, nah. But actually watching him act out the character, I really dig his portrayal. Great Ordeal book. It's right here, Neil. Boom, boom. Kind of hard to see. Everything's blurry. I'm trying to find a good way for my camera, but it always fucking changes. Marcus Weber. Hey, and John Palladino. What's up, dude? I saw your deal over there with Steve. That was cool. Steven Pancoast. All right. I started the book, but I am not sold on the show. Oh, Interview with the Vampire. Like I said, I think the people that are probably going to have the biggest problem with the show are the people that read the books. I saw somebody kind of hating on the original adaptation with Tom Cruise and stuff. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, that adaptation is probably one of the most faithful adaptations I've seen. You can hate all you want on fucking Tom Cruise, but the stuff that's in that movie is in the fucking book. They chopped some stuff out because of pacing, I'm sure. but I've never seen a better adaptation, I don't think. I would have to think about it, but that is in my top of adapt like books to movies. So the show, I mean, that's why I think I was already like, I don't think so, because I love the movie. I love the movie. But both things at this show, because it's not out yet, but I've saw the trailers of like with Claudia in it, and as well as the movie from the '90s. They are definitely both of them are getting Claudia wrong. Claudia is like a 5-year-old girl, not a teenager, not a preteen, a 5-year-old. I guess it's just hard to get a really good, stellar 5-year-old actress because they're too busy wanting to fucking do little kid shit. Steve is fantastic. It's not Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise is. Hey man, I got no problem. Like his portrayal of Lestat is really fucking good. It's not. He doesn't necessarily look, though they did a good job in the movie of making him look like Lestat. I still doesn't really capture the total, like the way the books portray him, but the attitude and the way he carried himself, shit. I thought he did great. Brian Fuller initially was to do the show. That would have been interesting as Hannibal was really great. Yeah, okay, so I love Hannibal. Love Hannibal. And then was Brian Fuller the same guy that did American Gods? I liked, I don't know if I'm current on that show, but what I did watch, I know I watched the first season, I think some of the second. I really liked that show. I've never watched nor read any of this material. Yeah, well, shit. At this point, it's like the Vampire Chronicles are kind of. It's, I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the circles that you run in, but they're not. I never don't see them to be this very talked about like series anymore. They're very very popular back in the day, and then I think it just kind of fizzled out. And you got the people that read the books that are hardcore fans are still hanging on, but I love Anne Rice's stuff, and I don't run into a whole lot of people screaming about her books. Have I ever read Malazan Book of the Fallen? Yes. Well, I mean, only one. I've read Gardens of the Moon, which I hear is not a good depiction of the series overall. But I'll tell you, after reading Gardens of the Moon, I was kind of overwhelmed. There was just so many fucking characters being thrown at you. It's not exactly my cup of tea, at least not really yet. I'm still working my way into that. Most of the time when I have an issue with the book, it's a lot almost like those big epic books, it's because they threw too many perspectives my way instead of like sitting with one. So I don't know. I will tell you, I love Hairlock. The character of Hairlock was so fucking cool and imaginative and just my shit. And I will tackle the beast that is Malazan one of these days. I think I'm going to clear out Martin's books first. I actually got fucking Game of Thrones down there. I was peeking in the prologue yesterday, and I was like, dude, I know I've already read this book, but I don't really remember it. And I fucking love the prologue. Only saw the movie with Tom Cruise, never read the book. See, the cool thing about that movie is, like I'm saying, is in my opinion, if you've watched that movie, you have a very good grasp on the book. Like there's some things that they cut, like I said, it had to be for pacing because you can't shove every goddamn thing into that book. But for the most part, if you've read, or I mean, if you've watched the 90s movie, you know the book pretty well. Like if you read the book, you'd be like, yeah, it's just like the fucking movie. John said, yeah, plus vampires aren't really my thing. Come on, John. Vampires, bro. Maybe there were, some vampires throughout the years that ruined it for everybody. I don't know. People seem to hate it when they sparkle. Erickson is a fantastic writer, but Malazan is not for me. Way too confusing, and I finished Gardens and realized I didn't understand a damn thing. See, that's what's funny is a lot of people say that it is confusing, and for whatever reason, I wasn't that confused. And I'm not like, oh, because I'm smart. I think because maybe at the time when I read it, I was kind of used to things just being whatever, like mysterious or maybe not explained to death. Brandon Sanderson was like one of the first people to like go so in depth into something that was like, fuck, this is like hard sci-fi almost. So yeah, I think like the Warrens, like the magic system and all this shit going on, it was like, yeah, okay, keep going. You know what I mean? Like, fucking cool. Like, I don't need to know the in and out. So maybe I understood it, but I had a loose understanding of it. And it never really felt confusing. It felt overwhelming. It was just like, fuck, another person in this pie? Like, shit. How am I going to eat all this? I'm too simple for Malazan. Yeah, you know, and then maybe that's my thing too. Like, I'm not a good multitasker, and maybe that's why perspectives always fucks with me. I'm very good with one, you know. I love the romance angle in Hannibal. He was very loosely interpreting, but very faithful to the core themes. I enjoy as much as straight to the as much as a straight to the word adaptation. Okay, so I haven't read the books of Hannibal, but I really dug that part of that show as well. There was this like sexual tension between Hannibal and the god damn it, what's his name? The fucking god damn it, the psychologist or whatever. And I thought it was so very well done, so tastefully done. You know, it never like got it, I don't know, never felt pornographic or just like it stepped over some bounds. It was very well done. And I feel like that's something that you don't see too often. You do see it in stuff like Anne Rice's stuff. Like Anne Rice's books are very sexual without having like the sex. It's weird. There's like, she can make you feel so awkward and uncomfortable sexually in these moments without having any kind of penetration smut shit going on. It's just, she really captures like the emotions and the feelings of passion and sexual stuff, or I don't know. She nails it. And I remember that reading it. That was one of the first things reading that had ever really like made me feel uncomfortable, was reading these like just over sexual fucking beings, man. That the way that they just play off of each other, the tension is so fucking palpable. I just finished Darkness That Comes Before this morning. Took me more than a month, but I liked it. Chadia, fuck yeah, that is an accomplishment. It ain't no fucking race. And I guarantee you, somebody that takes their time with that book is probably going to come out the other end with a better understanding than someone that just flies right through it. You know, it's all up to every reader is different. Some retain things at a lightning pace, but I'm a pretty big believer in taking your time, especially when it comes to something like Baker's writing. I'm currently reading American Psycho, and I'm really looking forward to see the movie again. The Morning Routine. Yeah, too. I have not read that book, but I have seen the movie plenty of times, and it's actually made me very interested in reading the book. I've also watched the movie that I think that also has another book kind of attached to it. What is it, like the laws or the laws of attraction, the rules of attraction or whatever? I really liked that movie as well. Boom. Truth shines. That's right, Truth shines. Dan, I was in a slump for years with reading, totally ditched it for other things in life until I found your channel. Just wanted to say a big thanks for the content, getting me back into reading. Yeah, man, absolutely. No problem. Man, I've gone through my little chunks of like not reading even for like a year or two, and then kind of getting back into it, getting all jazzed, maybe getting knocked back off my reading horse. You know what I mean? So if I could be any kind of motivation or help just to keep you on that track, well, if you're enjoying it, fuck yes. That's definitely part of the reason why I started doing this thing. Yeah. After reading Second Apocalypse, I think you're going to enjoy Malazan. Yeah, I think so too. It seems like a lot of the readers kind of cross over. Like people read one and then they go to another. People that read Malazan, then will go and read Baker, and they like Baker, And a lot of times they're like, well, I thought, fantasy was over after reading this, but I'm glad I could find this gem too, So I am excited about Malazan. Plus, there's so many of my friends that have read it and really stand by it, and I respect their opinions. So I don't think they're just talking out their ass. I like John says I like anything that makes me uncomfortable because not much makes me feel in books. Yeah, that's I love it when an author can strike an emotional reaction out of me, regardless of what spectrum it is. Shadia says I don't like uncomfortable sexual moments. They are uncomfortable though, right? Like you just, and it has nothing to do with whoever's sexuality or whatever. It could be straight, gay, whatever. But two people just being so close to one another, and you see or sense that tension, and then they're not really, there's no like, they're not fucking going for it. So the tension just stays there, or it builds, and it's this thing that can kind of get in. You're like, what the fuck, man? Man, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing personally, like the sex stuff in writing has always kind of made me a little squeamish. And that's one reason why I've tried to like fuck around with it a little bit of my own, try to see if I can't grow out of it, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how you can throw so much blood and guts at me, and I'm like, yeah, and then a little sex. I'm like, whoa, I don't know, guys. But John says, I'm also a cold bastard. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's good, though. Then if you are a cold bastard and you get something that hits you and makes you fucking, feel, damn, that is when you got some good writing. Chadia says she feels too much. Oh man, American Psycho, the book is even more debased than the film. I somehow imagined that. Yeah, I kind of figured so. I remember when I read the Clockwork Orange, I was actually surprised that Alex could be even worse than in the movie. All right. Sci-Fi Rogue, Patrick Bateman is a point of view character in Rules of Attraction. Okay. Yeah, because like I thought his brother, isn't it like his Sean Bateman or whatever? Maybe not in the book, but in the movies, the main character, like James Vanderbeek's character, what I assumed was like Patrick's little brother. I don't know if that's how they were playing it or what. I love that movie though. Steven, American Psycho is a crazy book, way darker than the movie. Yep. Okay. I might have to get into that. Chadia, that's why I like Baker. I don't like any of the characters. So when something awful happened, I could handle it. Each time someone's getting fucked up, she's like, oh, thank God they're a horrible person. Marcus Weber, how Bateman was always hung up in what people were wearing, paragraphs of describing the clothes and things. It made me go insane right with them. Yes, that's one thing I loved about the movie. Like when they pull out their business cards and you could see like he's just like a fucking snapping because somebody had a better business card. It's just yes, perfect fucking psycho behavior. Neil, and I am in a 12-month book slump. Can't find anything to scratch my Baker, Martin, Abercrombie itch. I tried Malazan and I don't like his style. Damn, Neil, that's harsh. So, gosh damn it. What was I was just thinking. Have you read Between Two Fires, Neil? Or listened to the audiobook maybe? I think you would like it. I would also recommend maybe you might dig Snakewood or some of Adrian Selby's stuff. The other thing I would throw at you, Neil, is fucking Land Fit for Heroes, Richard K. Morgan. I do think because you have consumed so much Baker, because Morgan's a wordsmith, but it's not like written like how Baker writes, very much Morgan style, but it is very powerful, and it can be very dense. It can be that just legit writing that some of us love to consume, while others just it drives them insane. I would definitely maybe give those a shot. I know that you're into what is it, Left Hand of God as well. I'm trying. I'll kick my things around my brain. I'll think about you, Neil. I'll come up with some shit for you. Yeah, they're brothers in the books. Okay, cool. Tim, I've been reading Between Two Fires. It's been pretty epic so far. Between Two Fires was one of the best surprises I've ever had reading. I didn't really know what to expect, and by the time I got to the end of that book, I had been through a wide array of emotion and thought and just everything. It was just a fucking killer book, and it gave me a lot of Dark Souls vibes at times. It was just good. Can't recommend that fucking book enough. It's on my top 10. John Palladino. Martin and Abercrombie are my two favorite authors and largest influences for writing. I wish I could find more books like them. Gosh damn. You know, if you like Abercrombie, I would just the one book that it's not. God, I just want it. Yeah, I'll just throw it out there, man. You should probably give the Blackhawks. It's the Articles of Faith duology by David Ragg. The first one being Blackhawks. It is, I want to say, it's maybe a little bit more fantasy than the grimdark style of Abercrombie, but I feel like it rides that line. And the characters is what really reminded me of kind of Abercrombie's. And I had a lot of fun with David Ragg's characters, man. Lemon is one of the funniest gals in all fantasy. Neil, you could try Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wirtz or Acts of Cain by Matthew Stover. That's a great recommendation. Thank you, Mark. Acts of Cain, Neil. Check that out as well. I think that might be right up your alley. It's a very, I've only read book one and it was very ambitious. It comes at you from multiple perspectives, multiple kind of like styles of storytelling. It was such a swing for the fences. I can never fucking praise it for being so fucking ambitious. It's badass. All right, let's see where we at. John says Robin Hobb has sort of scratched that itch. Okay. I have not gotten into Robin Hobb, so I don't know. I think I'm going to be doing Guy Gavriel K if I do Robin Hobb. I just picked up another Guy Gavriel. I have like 3 or 4 Guy Gavriel K books now. So I feel like I have enough to get in, like find one of them that I want to jump into first. Okay, John says he read the Farseer trilogy and he thought it was great. That's awesome. Land Fit for Heroes, I also want to read. Yes, also heard that there is a tasteful gay theme in there. Yes, there is. Okay, so Land Fit for Heroes, you got to understand too the timeline in which it was written. It wasn't written just, last year. This was written fucking back in the early 2000s. So this was still written in a time, not necessarily maybe if it would have been written 10 years before that, but still in a time where you weren't finding people putting their protagonist, like making their protagonists gay. It just wasn't something you were going to see like you do today. So that was a kind of a big, like, that was kind of a deal. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? To make your main character gay wasn't just a fucking a nothing deal. And Richard K. Morgan approached it from a way that really breathed a fucking life into this character and made him anything but superficial, and that's something that could be scary, especially with like, oh shit, maybe he just made the fucking character gay just to kind of have a shock value or to be different. But no, there's good reason why, like why he chose Ringle's sexual orientation and everything, and it plays massively into his character and the story. This is a person that is, because of his sexuality, has been marginalized. Okay, so this is somebody who, at the point when we meet him, he's a war hero, but basically no one gives a shit. They're basically just not killing him, because of his fucking accolades in war. That's why they're not going to kill him for being gay. It's fucked up, man. It's a very depressing set of stories, and I think that Richard K. Morgan explores the hero, the dark side of a hero, like no other. It's really fucking cool. Ringle of Eskiath is one of my favorite fantasy characters. Super fucked up dude. But I feel like there's a reason behind everything. You understand his motivations, and yeah, they're all fucked up. But I can feel for him. Oh man, I'm losing here. Sci-Fi Rogue says Matt Smith played Patrick Bateman. Oh man, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Hold on. Matt Smith played Patrick Bateman in a Broadway musical. What? That's awesome. I'm becoming a mad Matt Smith fan. I just watched Morbius today because he's in it, and dude, I loved him in it. The movie, it's a fucking PG-13, Morbius movie. There are some really dope special effects, I thought, like when they're moving really fast and the like fuming tracer vapor shit coming off of them just looked fucking cool. Some of like the frozen moments with bullets and shit. I dig that kind of stuff. Now, the overall writing and everything, maybe it just not the greatest, but definitely nowhere near the worst. There's so many other superhero, like Marvel, whatever films out there that are fucking garbage. I actually dig this one. But I think a lot of it was, enjoying Matt Smith's performance as Milo, man. And it was great. I love the fact that he goes straight into this thing. It was a guy who's been fucked up his whole life and basically disabled, get this power, and immediately it fucking turns him into a fucking psycho. I loved it. All right. Great casting, exactly, Mark. Okay, Dan. But man, Jorg is so beautifully written. Yeah. Okay. I love Jorg. I love Jorg. I love him. He is beautifully written. He's a beautiful son of a bitch. I love Jorg and Kraft, and I do think he's well written. It can be there are plenty of things you could point out and be like, well, that wasn't written that well or whatever, I think what I cling to is just the complexity of such a fucked up kid. This guy who can very well be portrayed as evil and horrible and just downright nasty. But the more you learn about him, you kind of understand certain aspects, and there are certain things that are in play that maybe do give him an excuse, and then there are things that don't give him an excuse, but at least give you context. So there's just all this shit, moving around in this ball that is Jorg Ancraft. And so it's hard to get like a fucking, oh, this is who he is. I feel like throughout his life and the actions that we get to see, it's incredibly hard to make a fucking judgment call. Like, you can kind of go either way. It's impossible to get a snapshot of who this gentleman is, because he's just like murky water moving constantly, always shifting and changing to whatever he needs to finish the game, so to speak. An impressive, ruthless, cold, and calculating young man for sure. Yes, Sci-Fi Rogue, Ringo Eskiet. Yes, one of my favorites too. I love his name. For those that don't know, Ringle was the fucking sword that Fingolfin had in the Silmarillion. So I thought that was really a nice touch. Love Ringle. So John Palladino's asking, has anyone read Brian Lee Durfee books? I heard they were good and grimdark. So I'm reading, I've kind of got it pinned right now. I'm like several chapters into The Forgetting Moon. And the first thing I'll tell you is it's written fucking awesome. It's got a great prose. Brian Lee Durfee knows how to write. Like it becomes apparent very, very fast. Like, this guy just knows how to describe and set a scene, and he's got that prose that feels like a fantasy story. I'm kind of, so far, maybe I just haven't made it that far in. I'm kind of surprised it's been super heralded as grimdark. I do think that there are some darker things happening. Maybe I just haven't gotten to that far into it yet, though. I mean, I feel like I've read a chunk. My biggest concern right now with that book is that the majority of my prospective characters are all younger, and I don't like that. I want older people in my fucking story. I'm getting all like, ugh. This is my main beef with, I guess, a lot of the stuff I read lately is I'm tired of young protagonists. I like older characters. Most of the time when I read a book and it's a great book, but I wish it would have been told from the older characters' fucking perspective instead of the younger ones. So that was what made me pin it at the moment, because I also had a lot of other shit going on. So I was kind of sitting on it. It was like, I'm going to finish that book one way or the other because it's fucking good. I just don't know if I want to like shove it in right now, or do I come back to it later? Because I can only read so many stories with young people. All right. I'm fucking old and crotchety. I need my old and crotchety characters. But I don't know about the grimdark shit. I can't speak for it being badass. There was one character, older guy, and his perspective was fucking. It was pretty bloody, gory. Liked it a lot. Yes, Neil, keep up the good work, Mark. Looking forward to the great ordeal discussion with the two other YouTubers. Any idea when that's happening? It should be happening soon. We're going to be doing both books, I think. So it might end up being a bit long, but I imagine those that want to watch it will watch it. So it's just at this point, everyone, Jimmy and Amanda have already read all the books. So it's going to be really hard for any of us to talk about the great ordeal without letting shit from the unholy consult kind of leak in, So we're just going to cover the great ordeal and the unholy consult at the same time, which is kind of cool because I know that those were supposed to be one book in the first place. So it's probably going to be a pretty lengthy discussion because there is a lot to talk about between those two books. Neil. I'll tell you one thing on a reread. It's crazy how much more clarification I got, how much easier I could see some of these scenes. And some of it got cleared up to where I was like, fuck, I saw that whole thing different. It was almost kind of, I don't want to say a letdown, but there was like a disappointment. But there was this little part of me that was like, oh, fuck, I saw that whole thing differently the first time. Now that I see it clear. I love those books. Bobby, will Martin ever finish Game of Thrones? And what writer do you think would be able to finish it? I don't know. I've only read Game of Thrones out of A Song of Ice and Fire, and I read it a long time ago. So Martin is probably the like guy I'm probably going to be sinking my teeth into next. But from what I remember, I don't really, dude. The thing is, I don't really remember anybody else that like feels like Martin. So I'm trying to like compare it to, who kind of made me feel like Martin a little bit was Adrian Selby a little bit, but he wouldn't be the guy to finish those stories. I don't know who would be to finish those stories. Maybe if I read all of them, the ones that are out right now, I might have a better idea which author. Because there are certainly capable authors, you know what I mean? Like Baker and Richard K. Morgan are fucking phenomenal, but I don't know if they would capture what Martin has going on, I'm not the most read motherfucker out there either, so there could be plenty of people that are very good for this position. I don't know. We'll see. It could be one of those things that goes out like Dinosaur Lords, like Victor Milan died, and I'm pretty sure that just stopped the series. We'll see. I mean, would you want somebody else to finish it? Or would you rather it just stay untouched? That's my question to you guys. Gravewalkers, I think he will die before finishing it. If he was younger, he could wait out the fan backlash, but he is old. Yeah, he's definitely getting older. And I mean, I don't know what pace he's writing, I mean, I know it's already been a lot of time. But I almost going to go out on a ledge and say he's probably written quite a bit of shit, but how much of that has he scrapped? How much has he said, no, fuck it. Wad it up, throw it away. I'm going back to the drawing board. That's a fucking possibility too. One of these things that goes through my mind, especially when it comes with Martin and Office and maybe even Lynch, because all those guys really blew up for whatever reasons. And these books, these series, these trilogies, whatever, are such like monsters at this point how do you finish them? How do you finish them off and do it justice? And I wonder if that isn't a fear that goes through these guys' minds and keeps them from actually finishing their stories, because they're so worried about what you're going to think of the ending. I don't know. I could tell you just from writing my own shitty little stuff, sometimes worries pop up in my head. This is why I'm pretty grateful that I'm not a fucking writer and I don't got anybody being like, where's the next book? I'm like, oh, shit. Let me get to these. I'm just going off, spouting out my neck hole. I think you can do anything in a story. Who cares who is gay or trans or whatever? If that's what the story calls for, when it's only virtue signaling, it starts to get annoying. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, he could have just thrown this. It could have been a very superficial way to like shape your main character, but he goes into it. It's definitely, there's reasons. And that's my big thing with all this shit. I want diversity. I want it, but I don't want to feel like it was shoved in my face or forced. I don't even know how the people that are in the position that get the jobs because of it can feel good, because it's like, dude, like, can't you obviously see that there was this was just something, a shit sandwich that we wanted to shove down everybody's fucking throats? Diversity is a good thing. Forced diversity is forced. Anything that you're forcing on me, I'm going to probably push back on, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do it perfect, or how to make everybody happy. I don't think you can. So I think that's why you just need to make things that are true to yourself or true to your world or whatever that you're doing, and fuck everybody else. That doesn't sell, though. You know what I mean? You got to sell books. Can't fuck everybody else if you want to sell books. Funny thing is, I feel like if people took some of this fuck everybody attitude and like, they might actually produce things that people fucking love because of that attitude. All right, I'm getting way behind. So I'm going to scroll down real quick. I want to hit this one real quick. Morrow. John, I read a 1.5 of the 5 Warrior Angels. I felt it to be a bit too slow moving for me. A lot of court intrigue. Okay, yeah, and I could see that. I saw there was some action, though, going down the parts that I've read, and some assassin. Well, I guess that's even intriguing, though, too, the way that it unravels. All right, Tim. Yes, I wanted the main character that is old and grizzled. You and me both, brother. I swear, I just love a good old fucker, an old crotchety bastard. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be crotchety, just like an older person, because their perspectives intrigue me. Because guess what? I'm old. I don't give a fuck about. I know some people love the coming of age stuff and all that. I don't. I just don't care. I want to fucking know what's interesting to me. People my own age. If I went and hung out at my fucking kid's school around a bunch of fucking high schoolers, teenagers, or even kids right out of high school, I'd probably go fucking insane. And there's nothing against the young folks. I was young too, and I guarantee you, I wouldn't want to be around me. So why do I want to read about you nonstop? It's a thing, though. That's fantasy. Fantasy is like known to, like, I think if you want to sell books, your best interest to have a younger protagonist. At most he's in his late 20s or some shit, or she. All right. I scrolling down. Well read, well known. Let's see. Nah, leave it alone. The last time someone ever finished it, we all got burned. I'd rather have it incomplete than ruined. Yeah. I'm actually be okay. Like, if I read all the books and they never got finished, and it was because he died, I would be perfectly fine with no one touching him. No, we have seen how someone finished it. Shoddy. Enough said. I like the show. You know what I mean? I know everyone that read the books fucking hates it. Matt, bookish bastard. The place looks very classy, Mark. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I know I'm having a hard time getting the glare and every shit. You can see the nice trees out there and shit. But yeah, it is kind of classy. This is a much classier setup than my last one. It feels very homey. I feel like a actual fucking YouTuber now. Also, don't want a song in Ice and Fire finished by someone else, rather unfinished. Yes, I think that's cool. I think that this is becoming the general consensus here, guys, is that most of us would probably just rather it stay unfinished. Sam, hello. John Palladino. Ugh. Great way to start your con. Ugh. Everyone tells me I need to read The Gap Cycle. My TBR is too large, and my brain is mostly focused on writing. I understand that, John. Hard life when you're both a reader and a writer. It is tough, right? I think, just personally, there are certain stories I'm staying away from right now just because I'm also writing, and I don't want, as much as I love these kinds of stories, I don't want them to rub off on me. Really, I've like kind of a specific way I'm trying to spin this story, and so I'm reading a lot of shit that is at least semi reminiscent. I'm not nearly as good as any of these guys, but I do notice when writing, it affects my reading massively. And there are times where I'll be reading and I'll be start kind of stemming off and going into my own world, and I have to stop. So it's a difficult thing to read and write. I wish I could write faster because then I could just write the motherfucker and then go back to just reading books. But it's not the way it's going down. Wilbur, what's going on, Wilbur Seymour? John, got to take one at a time. I know the struggle. Yep, that's it. Yeah, I read probably a book and a half a month. Yeah, that's not fucking bad, man. Like us reviewers, we pump shit out. But fucking reading a book a month is great. Gravewalkers. Recreational reading is elite now. Politically polarized masses do not read, but they will attack your success. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's just across the board. Yeah. Anything somebody once told me, they're like, when it comes, especially with people pleasing and all this shit, they're like, look, man, it doesn't matter how hard you fucking try and how good you do. You could be the fucking Dalai Lama. You could be Jesus Christ. You could be any of these motherfuckers, the most selfless being on the planet. And still, somebody out there is going to hate on you for whatever fucking reason. It's just going to happen. So, fuck them. All right, Bobby, any horror movies you have to watch around Halloween? Seen The Shining dozens of times, and I'm always catching something I haven't noticed. Oh, nice. The Shining is a great movie. Obviously, Stanley Kubrick is going to have plenty of shit to find in his films. The guy was like a genius. One of the things I really loved about his Clockwork Orange is just his the cinematography or whatever, like the shots. You know what I mean? He was able to really portray like a dark, disturbing, and almost like a violent atmosphere by using nothing but like a dark lit fucking tunnel and some shadows. Nothing had even happened yet, and you could feel the ominous tone. It was great. That guy is fucking awesome. I'm sure I heard that he was horrible to work with, though. But any horror movies that I'm planning on watching, nobody in my house fucking watches horror, which is a damn shame because I love it. But I don't really have necessarily any plans to read or to watch any horror. I'm sure I'll get around to something. I used to always love the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors was always one of my favorites to go to, just because that is if you're a fantasy fucking fan, you would like that because that shit is probably the most fantastical of the fucking Freddy's. I'm trying to think, man. Every time I get asked about something, I always think about it after the shit. After I turn off the camera, I'm like, oh, what about that movie? Ooh, I see. Bookish. Oh yes. Okay, Matt. Younger protagonists are limited. Their age implies that little experience, let alone any sort of wisdom. I prefer a certain level of nuance and complexity in my characters. Bam! Thank you, Matt, for saying what my dumbass can't. But that's pretty much it, guys, especially when here at fucking 40 years old, about to be 41, it's hard for me to look at somebody that's 17, 18, even 20, 21, and think that they have like the world figured out, because I'm not like trying to make like everyone's just like me, but there is something that goes with age. And when you aren't that old, you've only had a limit amount of experience. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying experience equals wisdom or intelligence or whatever, but it gives you perspective. You have seen things, and if you take the time and practice patience, then maybe you will form wisdom out of that experience. But either way, you have more to pull from, more feelings, more fucking instances and events, more fucking drama, everything, because you've just been around longer. Unless you've been hiding inside a fucking box, you've experienced more of the world. You have more to say. And when you say it, I'm more likely to believe you, because when a fucking kid's world is coming apart, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's some little kid shit. You'll be all right. Come on. John says, everyone's going to be offended by something, so I don't even worry about it. That's the best way to go about it, John. Don't fucking worry about what these people are going to fucking throw their arms up in the air about. Just fucking write your story, no matter what. Tim says, The Thing needs a rewatch, I think. Yes, that's a great idea. Old school horror flicks, if I can get into them. David, is that a Carpenter? That's a Carpenter film, I believe. But Cronenberg, who I was thinking of, Terror, what is it? Terror Dome? No. Technodrome? Fuck. Something like that. It fucking, dude, that shit was crazy. He's all putting like the videotape in his vagina chest. You want to watch body horror, go Cronenberg. You know what was a cool movie that I loved was, and it had Cronenberg's star in it, but it was a Clive Barker movie. That was, God damn it, what the fuck am I? Nightbreed. I love Nightbreed. That's one I might watch, and I think there's a director's cut, which is supposed to be much better. Yeah, I love Nightbreed. A Clockwork Orange gave new meaning to the song Singing in the Rain. Yes, doesn't it, though? And I can't hear that song without thinking of Alex. Just, ugh. All right, Gravewalker. Not only offended, in book 8, one character said one thing that offended them. Now they hate you for all time. Yeah, it's so fucking crazy. 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship are an annual rewatches for me. Dude, 13 Ghosts. I'll tell you what, the beginning of Ghost Ship, I like a lot. And there's a good chunk of it I'm like, it's okay. But 13 Ghosts, for a movie that is just okay, but I personally think that movie kicks ass. I fucking love the concept of these 13 fucking different ghosts, souls, or whatever. Some of the aesthetic, like some of the makeup and shit, the effects were just fucking cool as shit, dude. Oh, the jackal's terrifying. All right, I got to scroll down again. I'm not good at keeping up. Sorry, guys. Beckspot, hi, I'm new. Whoa, hello, Beckspot. Welcome to the shit show. What am I reading now, Chadia? I just finished the Unholy Consult, so I've been kind of like kicking around some stuff. I have a bunch of books that I've shelved, and so I picked all of them up, trying to kind of see which one's hitting me the most. I'm not sure. I still got to finish Wraiths of the Broken Land, but I'm probably either going to finish the Brian Lee Durfee's book, The Forgetting Moon, or I might finish Wastelands by Stephen King, or I might be jumping into Game of Thrones. I don't know. We'll see. Or it could be something completely different. Who knows? I'm in a weird spot right now trying to really figure out what I want to sink my teeth into as far as my chunky read. All right, Tim says, us old timers need old timer hero. When I was 17, yeah, it was cool, but going on 39, I need some old man vibes. Absolutely, dude. That's the thing. And I do think, because here's the deal too, like I read like Broken Empire a long time ago, and I almost wonder if I wouldn't have like if I would have waited till today, like would I have issues with Jorg? Because Jorg is young. And it's funny because he's like kind of my contradiction when I talk about a lot of these younger protagonists. But then here comes Jorg, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down with Jorg. But Jorg it's hard for me sometimes to even remember that he's a young guy because he acts like a fucking adult. And that was the same thing with the character he's based off of. Alex is just like that too. So it was weird that both those characters are kids, but yet you never, at least for me, it was like a lot of times I just forgot that. Steven, I made it. You made it, dude. You are here. Just hopped onto the stream. Hope everyone is doing well. We are, I think. I don't know. There could be some people fucking falling on the floor gagging right now. I don't know. Oh, man. Mark, when I see the trees in your backyard, the Twin Peaks, then starts playing in my Twin Peaks. Yes. Yes. That's another dude I'm really into. Fucking, what's his name? God damn, I'm blanking his fucking name, dude. God damn it. The dude that directed Dune and Twin Peaks. Fucking, I'm stupid. I can't even think right now. You know who I'm talking about. House of Dragon. Opinion. I'm personally loving it. John, I love this House of Dragon show. I'm fucking all in. Love it. Matt Smith has really proven me wrong. I love this guy as an actor. He's probably one of my new favorite actors right now. And I was not like, just from looking, like knowing him, just seeing him like in a fucking advertisement and all that shit, I was like, man, you know, that dude's fucking hard. He's awesome. He's fucking awesome. And I really dig what they're doing with the show. It feels like Game of Thrones to me. You know what I mean? It feels uncompromising at times. Yeah, I don't know because I haven't read the Fire and Blood book, so I don't know if they've made a bunch of egregious changes that people are mad about. But what they're displaying feels very much like a Game of Thrones show. Like, and that's why I'm happy about the music that they play in the beginning. I know a bunch of people are complaining about reusing the music. I'm not, because it's just one of those things. It's like this show feels Game of Thrones. It should have the Game of Thrones music. I'm super happy with it. Where I was excited about Rings of Power, I found way more satisfaction out of House of Dragons than Rings of Power. The last episode of Rings of Power I liked, and you know what I mean? There's a lot of shit I could pick apart still, but for like the fantasy fan who wants to see battles and fancy fucking shit, it pleased me in that aspect. But for the most part, the Rings of Power has been a kind of a fucking hot mess for me personally. Yeah, Fire and Blood is great too. And I've heard it's kind of like history, but that doesn't deter me at all. Like I sometimes love that. You know what I mean? Like I love the Silmarillion and it's told like the Bible, like an account. So I wouldn't be opposed to reading something that reads like a history book. My buddy Evan told me it's like history, but it also gives you like their perspectives as well. So I'm very likely going to be getting into Fire and Blood. Currently reading Stephen King's It. Yeah, see, I would love to read that someday, and I probably will because I really loved the movie and the miniseries growing up. So, yeah. Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. I am doing all right. I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. Hopefully my son doesn't wake up anytime soon so we can hang out a little bit more. David Lynch. Yes, thank you. God damn it, Marcus. David Lynch is cool. He's weird. This shit is weird, but it's cool. I loved his Dune movie. Everybody hates it. I loved it. But I saw it back in the day when I was a kid, and it terrified me. All right, Bobby, do you do any hunting living in Alaska? This is a very hunting state. So I haven't personally gone out hunting in forever, since I was younger. But I'm probably going to be doing some out here now just because it's all around. My wife has already been doing some. She's a little fucking killer. She's been out there fucking slaying spruce hens. She brought home some the other fucking day. We ate it. It was fucking delicious. Pretty cool. It was pretty cool. She fucking brought one home and fucking had me help her fucking tear the fucking feathers off. Like, just, it was crazy to see my wife just jumping in and doing it. She made me look like a little bitch. Never saw anything with Matt Smith before, but he's been great. I also haven't read Fire and Blood, and that's why I'm loving it more than Game of Thrones, because I don't know what's happening. I'm starting to think that that's the right route to go. Watch the shit first, read the books next. And people are like, well, that spoils the... No, it doesn't. The books are always going to be better. This is like the uphill way of doing things. Don't read the book first and then the movie, because the movie's always going to be found like kind of wanting. Very, very seldom do they make a better adaptation, like a movie adaptation out of the book. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's very rare. Ask the fucking fans of the source material. They'll almost always tell you the book was better. People angry at the theme song are dumb because it's the best theme song ever. It's a badass theme song, guys. And so when you hear that, the reason why I love it is because, like, fuck yes, gets you kind of excited again. I'm sure some people are mad about how like Game of Thrones ended, but remember when you tuned in when you were liking it and you heard that music, how fucking excited you were to get to watch this episode? To me, that's what it's happening again. You hear that music. Dude, I'm like skipping the intros on most shows. I listen to that fucking music. I think that they just have really done a bang up job with the music and just the like kind of digital effects of the map kind of deal, the way it like moves and evolves and shit. It's cool. It's cool. And I'm always pumped by as soon as the fucking episode starts because of that music and everything. I'm in it. I'm engaged. You know, it's a smart call to use that music, in my opinion. Rings of Power, I stopped watching after one episode. I couldn't deal with the awful dialogue or the ridiculous main character. Yeah, there's some pretty bad writing in it. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just, yeah, there's just so many levels of why it's bad. In my opinion, what they're doing is they've made Galadriel, they've made her basically like Feanor. If you don't know who Feanor is, I'm not going to go into it all, but one person that hated Feanor more than not many hated Feanor as much as Galadriel, except for maybe Morgoth and the Teleri elves, which Galadriel is part Teleri. So, but they have just made her such a fucking insufferable, unruly, arrogantly suicidal character, which is nothing like the character I had in my mind. Now, does it have to be? No, but the thing is they fucked up while adapting this, thinking that they could try to be faithful in some manner or try to make it like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, and then they just did so much fuckery with it. It's this like weird mix mesh of like half in, half out, quarter in, quarter out, fucking all over the goddamn place, where they're changing lore, trying to mention lore. It's a fucking mess, and they'd have been better off if they just would have done a complete I mean, it would piss people off, but just go complete fucking upside down, flip every fucking thing, at least make it different. Instead, they tried to copy Peter Jackson and did a really bad job of it. Yeah, the writing is just fucking awful, though. It makes me mad because the thing is, and there are people that are fucking they'll come at me like, oh, you're just another blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, not at all. If you took the same writing and put it in another show, let's just say put it in Walking Dead, all of you motherfuckers are talking about how horrible it is. So don't come at me and tell me it's good just because you want it to be. It's not. It's not written well. Even the stuff I'm enjoying, like the Arondir kind of plot line or whatever, I like this character. I like the fucking story that's being told there. But there is dozens of instances that are just like, wow, that was badly written. But yeah, either way, I'm not going to sit here and say that that fucking show is garbage because for whatever reason, I'm still watching it, right? So there's something there. But man, there's so much that ruffles my feathers on a fucking every week. I'm like, God damn it. I was hoping that we were maybe going to smooth some shit out or get better. But I do think this last episode is a better episode, but it doesn't make everything that came before it all right. No. So that's the problem is you started this thing off on a bad foot and you just kept walking on it. The time jump thing tripped me out though. Thought it was high or something for a minute, wondering what the fuck was going on. Which time jump? Which fuck is, I mean, everything's been got time jumps. It's crazy. I'm not a big fan of time jumps though. Cameron, Mark, nice setup. Just finished Cross the River by Christopher Buehlman. Trying to find a digital library that holds Between Two Fires on your recommendations a while back. Yeah, see, I haven't read the Across the River. I had Between Two Fires, and it's amazing. And if you like, I think there's a bunch of people in my Discord that like that have read multiple Buehlman books, and I think they're all on board with like all his shit. I need to finish Black Tongue Thief really bad. That's one that actually might be on the horizon. I might be starting that over. I made it about almost halfway through, and then I put a pin in it. I think I might just start all the way over. Steven, no way, Alaska. I have property near Squintna. I don't know where Squintna is. I'm in Taslina. I just found out recently that the "na" in these names is from if it's like part of the Atna language, that the "na" part means river. And I was like, so does that mean that it's not like, would it be the Squint River or is it the Squintna River? Get what I'm saying? Anyway. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Alaska is beautiful. And the further you get out in the sticks, the more it becomes just a magical fucking place, man. Fire and Blood is pretty good so far. Haven't gotten to the point of the show that's covering. Just finished the chapter on Magor the Cruel. John says, Chadi, I like you. We have a lot in common. Chadi is cool. After the first episode of House of Dragons, I changed my ringtone. That's awesome. All right. CKNAK. Ptarmigan. Make for good. They do make for good eats, dude. I don't know if they taste just like caribou, but they are. We call them, we're calling them stupid chickens. That's what we call them, stupid chickens, because they just sit there and let you kill them. If you're, my wife, I think, told me she shot at one and it missed and it didn't even do anything. It just hung out, waited for her to get the right shot. You almost feel sorry for him. Greywalk, heard the talk about Paradise Lost movie. Same reasons the Silmarillion would translate poorly to film. Yeah, if you tried to adapt the Silmarillion like how it's written, it would probably be a bad idea. If you try to isolate specific stories in there and then expand on them, or just tell the story that's written, I think you could do amazing things. But trying to cover an entire world's history and lore in one shot is probably always going to be a pretty tough ask. And especially the way the Silmarillion is written. It's not necessarily like chronological. It kind of jumps around a little bit. I mean, it is chronological, but it also is just kind of hitting you with all this shit. Because it will hit you like in the state, ages or whatever. Yeah, you got to understand, it's like this is something like J.R.R. Tolkien, in his son Christopher, put together after his death. The Silmarillion has been written there's multiple versions of the Silmarillion, but then you have the published Silmarillion, which is that which Christopher and Guy Gabriel Kay worked together on to bring to us. But before fucking Lord of the Rings was written, there was a version of the Silmarillion, and J.R.R. Tolkien wanted them to publish it. He was trying to get them to fucking publish it, and that's why you get the crazy appendices in those books, is because that was kind of like the compromise, because the publisher did not want to publish the Silmarillion. It's funny because people think you're sexist or racist for hating Rings of Power, even though you love House of Dragon, which is also black characters. Yeah, there's a lot of this like you're immediately a racist, which I hate because a lot of people might not. I mean, like they just kind of shut down because they don't want to get into that kind of discussion. They don't want to be called a racist. They don't want to argue about racism. And sometimes like, you know, people that are really just lobbing this shit at them, they don't give them any time to breathe or debate. They just, fucking blame and point fingers and nonstop until the other side just gives it like, well, whatever. Nobody wants to even get into that kind of back and forth. It sucks. And it's just weird that this is the state that we're in. There's nothing fucking racist about people that want to see the lore faithfully adapted. And there's a reason why all these, like the elves are all white and shit. Like, it's not racist. It's just the way that this shit is written, and it represent these people, these cultures. So my question was like, I'm from Alaska, if somebody from fucking Alaska was like, wow, I wish that my people had fucking is like a mythology like these other fucking cultures. It's like, I feel like there is some cool Alaska mythology. I'm just giving a fucking example. Maybe they wanted to see more or give their people more like these other cultures had. So they create this massive, expansive, just in-depth 20 years. They pump this baby out fucking fantasy world. And it's all based around Alaska natives. Now, there are other people in this world, but let's say their focus is Alaska natives, right? Now this thing gets big, and now they want to adapt it. So if all the characters are Alaska native, is it no longer diverse? Now, also does that mean that for the sake of diversity, that you should be taking Alaska native characters out of the story to put in, whatever other races? I mean, like, here's the thing. It's easy because I'm a white guy, right? But it does kind of feel like if it's white people, they can easily be tossed out, and we could try this other angle. And I don't know what all goes into that. It's just fucking weird because as soon as you give any other ethnic fucking example, it seems like they'd be like, oh, no, it's diverse because it's showing a minority. It's like, I don't know. Like, think about it like this. If Tolkien's elves all being white is racist, like to portray, then isn't like the shows like Kingdom that's an all Korean cast taking place in feudal Korea, like, is that racist because they hired all Korean actors? Like, there's some weird shit going on in these arguments where I feel like people don't look at a whole lot of they don't have much perspective besides their own. So that they're only geared up to fucking shit out their crap. Like, but the problem is they're so aggressive, they give nobody with any critical thinking time to actually talk. And that's the problem. And he who speaks loudest gets heard. It's a mess. Do you need to read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings before the Silmarillion? No. No, because I mean, technically it happens first. My thing with the Silmarillion, and I can't say this enough, the perfect time to read the Silmarillion is when you're on fire for Tolkien, when you want more. If you've read, you don't even have to read the book. If you've watched just the movies, if you've watched The Hobbit, if you watched Lord of the Rings, and it left you really satisfied, but this part of you wanting more, fuck, man, the Silmarillion's great for when you want more because it's going to flesh out all the fucking history from beginning to current. It's dope. It's just not easy read because it's not like a story. It's like an account. It is world building fucking from beginning to end. You're not doing this like all this dialogue and snap. No, it's none of that. It's just telling you how fucking I almost said Yerwa, but how Arda basically was built and filled with life, and how that all fleshed out, what it looked like, and how the world did its thing before you found out about Bilbo, before you found out about Frodo. All right. I don't really care what they look like in Rings of Power. I just don't like the storyline, the acting, and the dialogue. Yep, that's my thing too. I don't give a fuck what they look like. I don't. I have buddies that are were super pissed off, and they're not racist. They're not racist people, but they were mad about black dwarves. You know what I mean? And it didn't bug me. I got there. I understood why they were frustrated because they're super sticklers for lore and all this stuff. Tell you what, that Dadisa character is probably one of my favorites. Like, and that's because I felt like her role, like she plays a great wife, like a great dwarven wife, like and her interactions with Elrond, with her husband, and just how she portrays herself. I just thought was great. It was good. I like the relationship between Durin and Elrond. I don't like that there's two Durins, but I do like the relationship there. None of this stuff is perfect. I'm just saying I like it. Yeah, I like Erondir or whatever, the black elf guy. He's cool as shit. My main problem with the show is Galadriel. Because of the shit they have her saying. The others, like when she said something about, she was talking to Halbrand and she said something about how her people were sent her into exile. And she's literally talking about how they put her on a boat to Valinor. Valinor is like going to fucking heaven. So if you're saying that your people exiled you because they put you on a boat to heaven, girl, you need to fucking rethink how you view the world. All right? Jesus Christ. Chill out, Feanor. All right. John says, I never even saw the dwarves. Yeah, you probably didn't make it that far, huh? Did you make it to where she jumps off the boat? Jesus Christ. Saw people defending this too. It was like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal that she jumped off the boat. I'm like, it is a big fucking deal. She's way out in the fucking middle of nowhere. She's in the Sundering Seas. Like, sailing to Valinor, you have to literally go out to fucking nowhere. And depending on, I guess, how you'd be out there, man. You'd be fucking out there. The closest thing would be Numenor, but even that would have been a ways from where she was. And she wasn't like, as far as we know, she was trying to go back to fucking Middle Earth. So you're saying this gal's gonna fucking swim all the way across? Well, that'd have been real bad news for all those elves that killed each fucking their own kind for the ships they needed to sail over to Middle Earth now, wouldn't it? Or maybe Fingolfin and all his fucking crew that fucking took the Hell Caraxes, one of the most fucking dangerous, fucked up routes to get into Middle Earth. But maybe Fingolfin's just extra. He's like, yeah, I know we can swim, but fuck it, walk. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And someone defended it like, oh, well, she would know that there are trading routes so she could find a boat. And I'm like, trading routes? Who the fuck is trading with Valinor? No one. You cucks. Yeah, and it's destroyed the comic industry. Yeah, for sure. I see it a lot in comics. It's gotten crazy. And that it was kind of like this thing with the interview with the vampire show. I could see what they're doing. They're smacking you over the head with a lot of stuff. They've gone above and beyond to make it as diverse as possible. Because now that not only are they made Louis a black man, they've also made him a gay black man. like I said, I don't fucking have anything against gay black men. Fucking got nothing against anybody, but I see what you're doing. And it was kind of not even needed. Like I said, trust me, you can be a straight man and you're already going to get involved in a lot of gay shit if you're in an Anne Rice fucking adaptation. It will not matter. In fact, I almost think it would been better if he was straight, because then you get that tension is just even more there. It's like, because by making him a gay character, it's almost like some of the tension seems maybe unrealistic, because he would be maybe throwing himself into Lestat, because fuck man, he's a lonely gay guy. Oh, there's my son. I can hear him. So we're probably only going to last a little bit longer here, guys. I'm going to probably cut this short. But these live little chit chats, if you guys are digging them, man, I'm really super down to do them. Now that the kids are in school, it's basically just me and Romy Boy here for a couple hours every day on the weekdays. And I think what would be good is if I could try to record something of a video and then afterwards hit you guys up for an hour or two, and we'll fucking shoot the shit on a regular basis. I think that'd be cool as long as you guys are having fun. I mean, I'm not trying to fucking bombard you with live chats if you're not into them, Chadia, yes, Galadriel is really the worst and not a fan of the actress. I feel bad for the actress, and I don't know enough of the ins and outs, but I want to say this, guys. I'm not a fan of her performance so far either, but there's this part of me that wonders how much of this is her ability, like the lack of her ability, or how much of this is just the direction and writing that she's been given. You can only put so much sugar on a turd. You know what I mean? It's still a fucking turd. So, and I guarantee you this actress she's not well known enough. She's not big enough to be calling the shots during filming. So it's not like she's going to be like, oh, I disagree with this. I think that we should do. No, she's not going to say anything like that. She's literally going to be like, oh, this what you want me to do? Boom. Okay, I can do that. They're going to listen. All of these actors, actresses, whatever you want to call them. They're going to listen because this is probably the biggest thing that any of them have had going on in their careers, or at least the biggest potential for their careers. So that by all means, they aren't stepping out of line. They are fucking taking every little bit of direction and relaying that to the best of their abilities. It's not this actress's fault. Maybe she's the one smiling, but she's not the one filming. She's not the one editing. So it's like that egregious fucking smile. We all know what it is. It was cringy as fuck. She's the one doing it, right? So she can't see it. She's just trying to portray it. The guy behind the fucking camera says, cut perfect. We loved it. That was great. And then the other people are fucking putting their stamps of approval on it too. So that's what really scares the fuck out of me. It's not necessarily the lack of talent that is on the screen. It's the lack of talent that's behind the fucking screen. It is really showing itself. These guys just don't know. It's fucked up because I'm not a good writer. And I'm not trying to fucking show off but I can write better than this. I can write better than this. And so could you. So if you ever needed a little motivation, if you were thinking about writing and you just weren't sure, go watch Rings of Power. Understand that there are worse writers out there than you, and you can do it. Wilbur, not watching that show, don't care. That's the best way to be if you don't really care. Don't watch it. The first time I read Interview with the Vampire, I thought Louis and Lestat were some kind of toxic thing. I just assumed that that's what we were supposed to think. Yeah. Well, I mean, Louis definitely, he's that sad boy vampire, right? He's definitely got his perspective. You read Vampire Lestat and the next one, it's like night and day. And even Lestat makes remarks like, oh yeah, well, Louis just trying to make me fucking out to be the bad guy. And it is toxic though. There is this bit of toxicness, whatever, between the two of them. But there is also that level of weird, like love and sexual tension too. The thing about Lestat is it's easy to look at him like a fucking psychopath or like just this mass murdering fucking monster, because in some ways he really is. He's a vampire. He's been alive for a long time. He got a body count that's out of this world. He's very far removed from his human self. So if you're trying to judge this guy like a human being, he's definitely going to be found wanting. But without a doubt, Lestat does love. He loves Louis. And not only this is not especially in the fucking books, but it's also been portrayed in the movies. So I did always like that. This is this fucking monster of a fucking being that also is capable of something like love. And not only capable of it, you find out is in need of it, desperate need of it. They all are. That's one of the crazy things about these vampires. The more you get to know them is And that's what's like creating all this sexual tension. I don't think that they can actually have sex anymore. And it all ends up getting played out within close, intimate conversation and just being with one another. It's, I don't know, there's something weird, fucking dirty, and exciting about it all. I don't know. You believe in me? Brings a tear to my eye. Nice talk. All right. Thank you, Lena. Grave Walkers. As director, I would have told her, you are Lena Tyrell, 90 years old, a queen in Game of Thrones, a power to fear and respect in a body of a beautiful, immortal child. That's great. Yeah, yeah. That's the one thing is like her fucking like this. People are like, oh, well, she's not the Galadriel that we know in the Lord of the Rings movies yet. Like she's got to have this arc. She's got to get there. And we do know by reading this and this that she was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, yes, sure. Galadriel was seeking power. She wasn't always the gal that we know from Lord of the Rings, but she also wasn't this fucking like this. I don't even know what to say. It's like that scene in the fucking courtroom in Numenor where she's just like, oh, well, I need some shit. So come on, humans, fucking bow down and give me what I need. I need the ships and I need them now. And if you got a problem, you could suck it. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. They just chop your fucking head off. Like, it's nuts. That's why I remember like just egregiously suicidal, like arrogantly suicidal. The first like 3 episodes, it's like everything she does is literally like a fucking a suicidal fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like she's just asking to be fucking have her head separated from fucking shoulders. Did I read anything new by Zoller? I'm reading Rates of Broken Land right now. I'm only a little into it. He's really found a way to disturb me with this one. So I'm not like flying through it. I like it a lot. Don't get me wrong. But he has definitely hit me with some uncomfortable feelings. Love his shit. But once I'm done with that, I don't know what else I'll go on from after that. I will have kind of completed his Western kind of trilogy, as he says, with Bone Tomahawk, you know. Matt, the real fantasy aspect about Rings of Power is the mental gymnastics my mind has to go through in order to sit through it. Yeah, sure. I tell you, it sucks because it's like the Numenor shit is just garbage, and it's that like Numenor could have been a show in its own, but fucking nobody probably wants to watch Numenor now. I should have portrayed Galadriel. I could put on my wig. I'll just be like, well, you know, it really bugged me when the show started off and they're like, Morgoth. She's like, Morgoth came and ruined the trees and we resisted. And I'm like, whoa. You did what? Because that's not exactly how it goes down, girl. Are you just not going to talk about how you went with your uncles and fucking killed your own kind? Huh? We're just going to leave that part out, huh? All right. You guys, that part is massive, and I get it. They don't have the rights to Silmarillion, but without that, there really isn't this. Like, that is so massive to her character specifically because she's Noldor and because she's Teleri. The elves that get killed are Teleri elves. So that's her people, and she's part of the people killing the people. Oh, it's just that kind of thing would haunt you while you're over in Middle Earth. It would also be a good reason for you not to want to go back to Valinor, right? So then I can almost accept why you'd want to jump off the fucking boat because you're like, shit, I'm not going back to fucking there, dude. The gods are going to fucking string me up. Like, zoink. You know, I'm better off in the Sundering Seas, you know, and that, as much as that's still crazy, it would make so much more sense. But instead, we just have a girl who's hepped up on revenge so hardcore that she's going to jump off the boat and swim with no actual fucking, like, without the actual ability to make it to her destination. Fucking crazy. The Ice Troll fight was what first seriously told me there was a problem with Rings of Power and that it happened in the opening scene. Okay. I love the fucking fancy, crazy fucking shing, ching, 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 ching. I love this as a fantasy fan because I want to see some crazy, egregious sword fights with just, I love the fucking, what's his name? Legolas, the crazy superhero Legolas shit. I like that. But I don't like is the fact that you had the Ice Troll take out like 10 dudes and then she kills it in 3 seconds because this says that either her fucking army is completely incompetent or that she's just that much better. And she's not that much better. She is better than a lot of these other elves, but not at that extent. I mean, shit, even in the Mines of Moria, the fucking hobbits were helping out. But here, fucking elves that have been trained for battle can't even get a lick in, but she kills it in 2 seconds. See, the problem is yes, it's flashy and cool looking, but it removes all these fucking like the threat level. There's no threat when Galadriel can kill an ice troll in 2 seconds without breaking a sweat. What are you throwing at her? Unless it's sheer numbers, there's nothing that's actually a threat for our main character. And wouldn't we want her to be in fucking danger? No, they just fucking, they're not getting it right. Why make a series when you can't even use it all? Thank you, Wilbur, but I do know the answer. Cash rules everything around me. Cream. Get that money. It's all about money. It's about money. And Jeff Bezos wanting to have a fucking fantasy show in his cap that was as big as Game of Thrones. You got to understand, Jeff Bezos is the devil. But she was tricked. Yeah. This is how I would have filmed it. Seeing it is if seeing his first view, showing this ancient, powerful being who is not human. Then she watches you and performs you. Bezos wanted to make Amazon's version of Game of Thrones. Too bad it's season 8. Yeah, but that's the thing. And I saw some reviewer being like, hey, look, Rings of Power is not a water cooler show. I'm like, well, that's what they were trying to be. If it wasn't a water cooler show, then they could release it all as like a bingeable fucking show, all episodes at once. Boom. And honestly, after watching so far, it's starting to seem like that would have been their better option. Release it all at once because the pacing issues are not, even though they're not there as bad because you don't have people waiting a whole week for another episode that doesn't go anywhere. They can get through that shit fast. A couple hours in one day, boom. They're already through the slow shit and into the other stuff. But that's not the way they did it. They did it one episode at a time, or, weekly. Why? Because they want a water cooler show. So these I'm tired of fucking critics. Like, I swear they're not even, it's like, not to like, quote fucking Trump, but it's like fake news. It's just like, what the fuck? Are you even actually critiquing anymore, like on an honest and open fucking basis? Or are you just saying a fucking script? I don't know. It does bug me. I'm sure somebody probably thinks I fucking read a script. Like, yeah, a fucking monkey smoking a cigarette wrote my script. Hold on one sec, guys. I just want to check on something real quick. Oh. All right. Yeah, he's up and he's cranky. So I'm probably going to have to end this up, guys, here. Just a minute. Let me see if I can get through these questions real quick or comments. I know we're just kind of getting into it too, huh? But hopefully, hey, maybe tomorrow I'll have another one or the day after. Like I said, I want to make this more regular as long as you guys are down to pop on and bullshit, I'll fucking do it with you. And I'm always down to talk about just about anything, man. Let's see. I'm the only nerd at work anyway, so I can't talk about it. And this is one of the things. One of the things that makes that show actually Rings of Power. The best part about that show is that my wife has been enjoying it. There are things that even bug her, and she's not a fan. She's like not even a casual, or maybe she is a casual or less than casual. And I was really interested in her opinion because of that. But my favorite thing about Rings of Power is watching it with my wife, because I don't get to watch a whole lot of stuff with my wife, especially not anything fantasy. So I'm almost like I'd be willing to put up with a lot of bullshit just so I could have something to watch with my wife. You spoiled the season finale. Good one, Angela. We need a week to rant about every episode, though, Mark. Dude, I mean, if you guys really want me to fucking shred Rings of Power, I mean, I'll do it. Give Peter Jackson $1 billion budget and give him all the rights to the first stage. See, I'm a big first stage fan, which is one reason why I wasn't too worried about this Rings of Power show, because I'm like, it's second age. But when I realized, oh shit, they're gonna change or just omit a bunch of the first stage shit, that's when I started sweating. Ugh. I want a fucking Morgoth, Melkor, I want that. That's what I want. It would be cool to see. That would be dope, actually, to fucking cover the at least part where the elves are just coming into Arda and Melkor finding them and everything. You could, god damn it, that could be cool as fuck. The Silmarils, you don't even have to cover the whole Silmarillion. Just the Silmarils would be fucking dope. I watch Leanne's rant every week, even though I don't watch the show. It's funnier. Yeah, I'll have to check out her stuff. I've seen some of her reviews and stuff. I have subscribed to her, so I saw that she's dropping Rings of Power content. It's just there's so much of it being dropped. I haven't really watched any of it. I've watched the show, and I've been kicking around like, do I want to even add to the pile? The YouTube content being made about Rings of Power is actually much better than the actual show. Yeah, okay. So maybe I need to make some Rings of Power content just so people can fucking enjoy something. Even Max Baby's cranky about the Rings of Power. Yeah, what the fuck? Even Romy don't like it. What do you think, Romy? He's like, I give this 2 dirty diapers. Chadi says, my brother's not a reader and he likes Rings of Power. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is the show, as much as like the people that are not liking it are going to be the Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, people that are fans of Middle Earth, or lore and all that stuff. Those are the people who are going to have the hardest time with that show. The next, fantasy fans will have something to enjoy, but they'll probably pick apart a lot of the bad writing. And then you have the super casuals, which will still probably pick apart some of that bad writing, but have a lot easier time enjoying themselves. It's kind of a slow burn, though, too, in some areas. So it's like that pays off if you have fans watching. But if you got like people that don't give a fuck about fantasy, what the fuck do they care about your slow burn? This thing is like kind of shaping up, and I'm kind of wondering. It feels like these guys have taken a page out of fucking their buddy's book. What's his name? The dude, the fucking guy, the lost guy, J.J. Abrams. They're trying to mystery box their way through the fucking show. They're trying to just kind of like breadcrumb fucking mystery box. You open that, guess what? It's another mystery box. What's going on? Ooh, what will happen next week? But that shit, no one gives a fuck. They just want to know what's happened in the fucking week you just showed them, because they're confused. They're like, did anything happen? And like the fact that we don't know who the fucking meteor guy is yet, that's just stupid. Who gives a fucking tell us? We got 8 hours or Adar or whatever though. I'm gonna be honest. I actually do like this concept of the fucking the elf, the bad guy elf. I like that. Wheel of Time and Rings of Power make me scared that Amazon, Fallout, and Mass Effect shows are going to suck. I didn't know that they were making a Fallout Mass Effect show. But I will say this, that Amazon has been pretty fucking disappointing. Pretty fucking disappointing. I thought that I have not read the books for Wheel of Time, and I thought that show kind of sucked. Well, I mean, I thought it was okay. For something that was supposed to be this huge thing everyone's shouting about, I was like, dude, nah. I watched it because it was a fantasy show, not because I was like into it. Yeah. My favorite fantasy show, probably that's out, still currently running, and that's out, is probably The Witcher. The Witcher kicks ass. I don't give a fuck. People can come at me at all kinds of shit. Like, honestly, the funny thing is a lot of because The Witcher is video game and the book, so you got like kind of this cross fandom deal, and some of them are mad about this or some are mad about that. But for the majority, a lot of the criticism that the Witcher show gets is aesthetics. It's they don't like the costumes, they don't like the fucking they don't like the hair change or the skin fucking race swapping or whatever. It's not necessarily like this was written horribly bad that this fucking wouldn't happen, but you don't hear that shit. It's mostly aesthetic. And fucking Jaskier is like fucking one of my favorite fucking characters in a TV show. He's so good. And I'm glad we have a fucking bard that's just fucking, that takes the spotlight and uses it fucking well. Every time he's on the fucking screen, I'm really digging his shit. I did think in season 2, they gave him some pretty shiny costuming. His like leather get up or whatever, just a little too brand new looking, too brand spanking new. But he's killing it. And the song that was in the second, I mean, I was really into the fucking first one. The fucking Witcher's song, Toss a Coin, was great. But here in second, when he got the fucking Burn Butcher Burn song, this is a fucking breakup song, and it's not even about a girl. It's about his buddy Geralt. It's so good. Like, did you ever even care with your swords and your stupid hair? Dude, it's so fucking good. I love Jaskier. Love that show. Oh, man, my son is losing his shit. I got to go get him, guys. Hey, thank you for chatting with me, and I will be back probably tomorrow or the next day. Welcome to the show for all you new people. Feel free to drop comments, come into my Discord, whatever you want to do. If you want to chat and I got a second, I will gladly do it with you. Think of some shit. We'll talk about it tomorrow or the next day. We could shit on Rings of Power some more. We could talk highly about something else. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I just want to fucking be able to hang with my peeps a little bit more regularly. You know what I mean? I'm definitely out in the sticks now, so I don't talk to anybody. All right. Well, cool, guys. Thank you. Like I said, I just shot a review for The Deathless by Peter Newman. Probably either release that tonight or tomorrow. I just got to take a look at it, make sure everything was edited properly and whatnot. But that'll be coming at you really soon. And then, yeah, more chatting with this idiot. All right. Later, guys. And I'll leave this up, too. For anybody that wants to watch, I'll leave it up. Thank you. Later, guys.